And welcome to Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's future, brought to you by the Kiwani Foundation. I'm Ehuke Kahu Cardwell, and here we are today in Waikiki at Queens Beach, a beautiful day in Hawaii. We got an awesome guest on the show. Let's go on over here and meet him. Duane, aloha.
Aloha.
Duane DeSoto, right?
Yes.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ehu.
And tell us why we're down here at Queens Beach today.
Well, today I think we want to talk about kuleana a little bit and about just doing what you think is right in life.
Wow. So, you know, Duane, Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's future, the purpose of our show is to inspire our viewers to get active, to get out of their chairs, their armchairs, and get into action with their own kuleana, their area of responsibility, the little thing that they see that they go, wow, I could make that better. And we wanted to have you on the show because you're one of those guys that said, I want to find my kuleana and make it better, yeah?
Yes, sir.
And what was it? Tell us what it is.
Well, my kuleana, I felt, was to educate Hawaii's children about the ocean, make them comfortable, as well as creating stewards of the ocean. And through utilizing canoes and surfboards and cultural practices, we were able to create Nakamakai, which also incorporates ocean safety as well as the stewardship and the cultural side. So it's really a hands-on learning experience where we address the lack of formal ocean education. Nakamakai means children of the sea.
Aha, so Nakamakai is a program for the keiki, for the children to become familiar with the ocean and, like you said, become stewards or caretakers.
Yes.
And I know there's a reason why we're standing right here and talking about Nakamakai, yes?
Yes.
Tell us why we're right here.
Well, I'll start off with Nakamakai is a federally recognized nonprofit organization that my wife and I co-founded together. And this is one of the locations where we conduct our clinics twice a year.
Right here?
Right here at this very spot. And
wow.
We service 75 keiki free of charge. And through that, they will experience shaping wooden surfboards, traditional boards. So that's Kalaipapa Hitinalu. They'll experience 30 minutes of one-on-one in the stand-up.
Wow.
And then they'll jump in a canoe and get a different perspective from the ocean of the land. And they will also start to learn and get a little bit of understanding of the connection between the mountain and the sea through the Va'a section. The next station they go to would be Papahanaumokuakea, which is the Northwest Hawaiian Islands. And they learn about traditional as well as modern marine biology through this station and stewardship and conservation. And the last station we do here is our ocean safety station, which the city and county provides us with a lifeguard who therefore shows them the safety signs that can be posted on the beach and the SOAP acronym, so that when they go to the beach, they're not going unprepared.
Wow. So how long does that take? That sounds like a big program, a lot of stuff.
The program is about 2 hours long, and what we're doing is about 15 children each clinic. So we do 5 of those in a day.
Wow, amazing. So they get literally from the ocean to the mountain and everything in between, the training.
Very much so, everything in between, and they really don't know they're learning half the time. You know, they're out playing, and then they're learning and playing and learning, and then they get a Jamba Juice at the end, which like sets them off. They almost forget where they are because they're having fun. And that's the key. We really don't want it to feel like a classroom environment. We want them to feel like it's hands-on, you know, makahana kaike, where they're actually doing it and they don't realize that it's educational.
So they're having way too much fun to notice that they're actually learning a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it is, you know, and we started off with that sort of sense where it's educational, then they play, and they also are physical, which is an important side, to stay physical, and then they learn some more, and then they're off with their parents again.
Wow. Wow, what kind of impact does it have on the kids when they start to, you know, learn this stuff?
Well, they start to realize that it's their kuleana to malama aina. And I think a lot of people confuse malama aina with just taking care of the land. But in traditional times, malama aina encompassed everything around us, which was the sea, the land, because it all had this interconnected relationship anyway. You know, the mountains depend on the sea for its sustenance of rain, and all the corals and limus depend on the mountains for its fresh water to give it light.
You open their eyes to a much, much bigger kuleana or horizon of what they need to be aware of and take care of, yeah?
Definitely, definitely. And it's the bottom line is it's my responsibility, it's our responsibility, and if we waited for someone else to do it, then we're going to wait around our whole life. How can I help bring other people to the same level, or how can I help bring opportunity? You know, it's the key point is opportunity, access, and the people around you. With those three things, we can actually improve children's lives dramatically, because now they don't only have one version of life. They don't only have one type of people to talk to. They don't only have one place to go. You know, the more places we understand is ours on this island, which is a huge barrier that I'm trying to work on breaking within my clinics, whether it's my volunteers or the children that come, is that they can go to Waimanalo and they can have ownership in this area, respectful ownership, you know, not walking, this is mine, more like walking in, I'm going to Malama this.
Right.
And even if I'm from Waianae, when I go to Waimanalo, I'm going to Malama. When I go to the North Shore, I'm going to Malama. And then that same theory comes from all of my volunteers who are in town, or come from the east side of the island, who help me in Poka'i Bay, who say, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to Malama and I'm going to lend a hand. And it's a positive way of going to other communities and saying, hey, we're here too and we're the same. And I'm going to help you, not because I'm better than you, I'm going to help you because I love you, because I feel like I have so much to give, and why not? Let's do this and enjoy each other. It's, you know, it's little barriers that were built through the time of being occupied, you know. It's going to take creative ways of deconstructing it and bringing us back into realizing that we're all one. And if we cannot unite as one, then we're not going to move forward as quickly, and we're not going to be as strong.
Right.
And that's a huge thing why I have one location in each moku on the island, is that we can unite. We can be a one entity, and we don't have to be like you over there and me over here, and then that's the end of it.
Yeah. You know, what you're talking earlier about ownership, it sounds like a completely different type of ownership than the Western culture. Western culture ownership is I have it and you don't.
Yes.
And the type of ownership you're talking about is ownership meaning not that I have it and you don't, but I come in here to take care of this place.
Yes, and the ownership really is another traditional thought of mine that I've been taught, is more that I belong to this aina.
Yes.
This aina owns me, and therefore I want to express that.
Yeah, you don't own it. It owns you.
It owns me.
So when you first started out, Duane, what was the reaction of the kids? Was it difficult to attract them in, or did they immediately come? What?
We had a captive audience through the Emalami Kekai, so that was good. They knew that they got to come over and do the program, but you know, there was some skepticism. It's the ocean, and people are still afraid of the ocean today. You know, it's a commonality amongst local people.
It's power.
It's power, but it's a fear in a bad way. It's not a fear in respect. There's a lot of fear in the sense that I don't know it, so I don't want it. I don't want to do it. I might die. I might this. I might that. And it's not just a fear of respect, because I fear the ocean in respect, you know, and I use that to make better decisions when I go in the ocean. I use that fear to make sure that I'm coming home to my children. But other people use that fear to instill in their children, so to make sure that they never drown or they never get hurt or whatever not, and then they don't educate them. You know, and so like.
So in other words, they tell them the bad stuff, but they never tell them the good stuff.
Never tell them the good stuff. They never tell them about the source of life that this ocean brings to us. Even just physically entering the ocean, the calm and the salt water mixing with our blood creates a sort of euphoric. It calms you. It balances you. You know. Our motto is Kekealoha Kaialoha, which is love the children and teach them to love the sea, and then in return, the sea will love the children. And it's a reciprocal relationship.
So there's the cycle right there.
It's a cycle, and we're kind of taught to put everything in boxes and segregate them, instead of teaching each other that everything is related, everything is connected. And even, you know, I had to learn that from people. It wasn't something that I just knew about. I had one of my children's teachers teach me about that, and it just brought really like a way to speak about it and a way to understand it, even though I could, you know, I felt that way, but sometimes you need something to put the glue behind it and make it where, okay, now it's clear. You
can feel it, but you can't articulate it.
Yeah.
Until you go through a program like yours.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you'd be surprised how many adults, how many college students, scientists who cannot see the interconnectivity of our 5 stations sometimes.
Wow.
Because it seems so separated by, maybe one is an activity of physicalness, one is an activity of, you know, learning and culture, but they don't see how they relate. And it's funny because even eating is related to everything you do, but most people would think eating has nothing to do with surfing or nothing to do with culture, as far as like why you're gonna go and shape the wooden surfboard and why you're gonna connect that to eating. Well, everything you do, you need to be powered, and you need to be powered in a healthy way, you know, a positive way, not with some kind of fast food or something.
I really like what you said earlier about teaching the kids, the keiki, that if they love the ocean loves them back. If they love the land loves them back. Yeah,
Definitely.
that's really important, isn't it?
We have a relationship with it, whether we will want to believe it or not.
Yeah, we have no choice in that.
It exists. It's
Yes.
there. So it's whether we want to malama and nurture that relationship. You know, we can deny it all we want, but it's still there the day we die. And that relationship it might come to fruition for some, and it might not to others. But at the end of the day, you know, what do you want to see your children swimming in? You know, I know that 100 years ago, this waters here were much more pristine. It didn't have all the opala from civilization sitting everywhere.
All the trash.
And that's trash right there. That pipe right there, that's
Yeah.
trash to me. You know, that swimming hole over there that's not being used, that's trash to me. That's civilization's trash. That somehow it's justified to sit there. Nobody's getting fined for that trash that's sitting in our ocean. Nobody's getting fined for all the poles that still exist from pre-existing piers. But yet, you know, you can get fined for leaving your car on the road for more than 24 hours, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny how it can sway back and forth. But our connection, you know, what we have as far as that connection to the land and to our aina, it's there. And we gotta either embrace it and move forward now, or we're gonna keep paying the consequences and looking back going, how come and why and what went wrong and why didn't it change? Because, you know, we gotta take that upon ourselves. It's you and I making our decisions daily that will impact the people we know, and it spreads like wildfire, amazingly enough. It feels insignificant at times, and then at other times it's really obvious the impact that comes from our individual efforts. I have an incredible amount of volunteers now that show up to Nakamakai and put their efforts on the table, and they know how hard the work is to sit there for 8 hours in the sun and taking children out and giving them their energies.
Wow.
Constantly. So they're like giving, and the children are taking. And that exchange is so tremendous. At the end of the day, it's not just the physical paddling and the physicalness of stand-up paddling or swimming. It's the mental too, you know, the mental that goes into it, and that whole.
So they're exhausted because they emptied themselves into the children.
Emptied them completely, you know, mentally, physically, just gave them everything they got.
Wow.
And I cannot imagine what Monday is like for some of them after our gnarly Sundays, you know. So it's a tremendous effort, but it was infectious, you know. Failure is always right there. Failure was right around the corner. We don't know if we're going to succeed. We don't know how we're going to be perceived by others.
Yep.
But it didn't matter. What mattered to us was like, hey, we wanted to see this change. We wanted to have that ability to affect our community.
Wow.
And we did it. And amazingly enough, the people who believed in our program, they're still coming to the clinics and helping children and putting forth their best foot just to make our community better for free. They don't get paid for this. When I look at the ocean, I see this beautiful, awesome place that gives us life.
Yeah.
But I also recognize that it is not in its most pristine point. We're continually poisoning it every day through all of our actions on this land. With all of these buildings and all of the infrastructure that is here, we are inevitably damaging and destroying our environment, and we're not taking the precautions to think about 200 years from now what are our children going to be experiencing here in Waikiki. It's basically make the dollar now and deal with it later. And the EISs that are being done on all of these developments are basically just to get it out of the way.
The environmental impact statements.
Yeah, the environmental impact statements.
Just to get the green light to build something to make more money.
Yeah, let's go. We got it done. They're not concerned with the actual impacts that truly are being made. And you know, I want to see children understanding that as beautiful as it is, we don't want to just preserve it because it's not in its right form. We want to make it better. To preserve something means to keep it the way it is. And if we kept Hawaii and let's say Waikiki specifically the way it is, then we'll never ever see what it was in its glory 200 years ago.
It'll stay just like this.
It'll stay just like this if we just protect it the way it is. But if we go a step further and we teach our children that there's actually more that we can get out of this area, there's more that we can protect it and make it better because it did exist at one time, then that thought process is obviously applicable to so many other things in our islands and in our lives.
Yes, yes.
You know, to think bigger, stronger, not just, okay, we're here now, let's just make sure it doesn't get worse. That's a great thought, but it's also an incomplete thought. It doesn't take you to that point of greatness, you know, where we live on an island constituted by the ocean, and yet we don't have the best recycle programs in the world. We don't have the best garbage disposal programs in the world. And we have a university here. We have one of the 10th biggest cities in the nation here. But yet we're not leading in all of these fronts.
Like we could be.
We should be.
Should be, yes.
We should be leading in these fronts. We should be encouraging other island nations around the world how to recycle better, how to use their trash better, or get a better place for it, a better use out of it. How not to import low quality products constantly, and then they break in 1 year and we keep throwing in the trash and buying a new one. You know, it's not just the people selling it, it's us who are buying it, who are choosing that lower quality, cheaper product, and then it's going to break in 2 years, and then we're going to buy another one, and then in 25 years we just threw 50 portable tents in the trash.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so what you're saying is Hawaii should be the model for the world, yeah?
We should be the model. We have the cultural experience that's sitting here waiting to be tapped into, because our culture was leaders in agriculture, aquaculture, and so many different things that the harmony was there.
They knew how to do it.
They knew how to do it. They knew how to balance it out. We as human beings will always affect the land, but can we minimize that effect and can we control it? You know, that's the key thing, is we will always be a nuisance to nature, but we have to balance it and make it the best we can. It's amazing that we're still sitting here. We might as well be in the 1800s or the 1700s, where we got a waterway like the Alawai sitting there rotten and stink and disease infested. Why is that? How can we be in 2012 and we've got a waterway that is disease ridden? Why are they afraid to get splashed by that water? And why aren't we doing something about it? Why do we have another waterfall along the walkway on the beach blocking my view of the surf? Why do we have another coconut tree and another piece of tile on the ground instead of fixing what's already broken? So it's these things, like, if we don't start questioning these things in the masses, we're going to get caught up in dealing with the problem in 50 years. And it's going to be too much.
It's going to be worse, isn't it?
It's too much. It's already too much because we've neglected all of the different infrastructures already. So now and give it 25 more years and it's going to be even more overwhelming. And we're going to want to build another thing like the rail that doesn't address all the issues that already exist. And it's going to keep going until we're totally inundated by crap. And then what do our kids deal with?
Crap.
They can't afford to buy their house and they're surrounded by crap. We're going to be living in a crazy place.
Yeah. All right, Duane, now, as we stand here and look out at Waikiki, at the waters here, describe what this was like 200 years ago. What was this like?
Well, one of the interesting things that most people don't know, and somewhere out here was a surf spot, Kalihuawehe, and it would actually break 20 feet. So 40 feet faces were breaking here on this coastline.
Those are huge waves.
Every summer.
Wow.
He said it was equal to the North Shore.
Wow.
The size and the power of the wave. And basically that does not exist just so that we can have these boats sitting here safely. They demolitioned the reef or whatever they did to create the safe boat passageways. to come into the harbors.
So they destroyed that.
They destroyed it.
Wow.
They eliminated it from the, they basically got rid of a problem in their minds. We don't know what used to exist here, how this used to be. Most people don't understand that Waikiki was half the year rock, half the year sand, because the sand would move and clean itself and be replenished every year. So twice a year, this would, this cycle was happening. But you don't know that because they built all these walls to contain the sand, and what happens is it slowly moves away and never comes back. And then we have this billion-dollar project to replenish the beaches.
Truck in more sand.
Truck in the sand, buy it from Australia, take it from Waimea, take it from Makaha, bring it here. Now that's illegal, so now we'll buy it from Australia, and then that's too expensive. So let's spend $1 billion and just dredge all the sand out of the channel over there, which had live coral, which they were eating up and spitting back on the beach, so destroying our environment. It's just not ecological. It's not smart. It's not the smart way to do things.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's just crazy.
It's barbaric, really.
Yes.
It's truly barbaric, and we justify it by saying, well, we got to keep the tourism industry. We got to make sure that all the hotels and the tourists are happy. But I don't see those dollars. I see my dollars getting taken by this community. I don't see the dollars coming from that huge hotel, which is owned by some entity that's not here in Hawaii.
Foreign corporation.
Foreign corporations taking the profits and using it in their countries.
Yes.
I don't see that being beneficial to us, because it's my water to wash their clothes and flush their toilets, and it's my landfill that is being filled up by their crap every day. Where is the benefit? Where, I look at it from the different side. I don't own these buildings, so I don't see the benefits. We might have made a lot more jobs. That's one of the positives, but that's a small piece of the pie compared to the billions that are coming out of this community, this one little community, and it isn't feeding back into us.
We've talked about the future of this area. Now I want to ask you, what would you like the future of all of Hawaii to look like and be?
I think the future of Hawaii is about that reciprocation, is about that balance. When we walk out somewhere on the beach, we're all understanding that our rubbish is rubbish, and we need to put it where it's supposed to be, in the trash cans. You'd be amazed how many people think cigarette butts aren't trash. You go by any of these coconut trees and you'll find 10 cigarette butts right there. That is trash. Believe it or not, people, it's rubbish. And as Hawaiians, as people who depend on this aina, we shouldn't be throwing our cigarettes on the ground. And really, Hawaii, to be at its best, is to create balances. And even if it costs more money, we're saving in the long run, and we're actually creating a standard by doing that. Money is not the bottom line. Profits are not the bottom line. It's about the fact that when I go out here in the water, I don't have to worry about my daughter getting staph. I don't have to worry about them stepping on a broken glass bottle, or my 1-year-old who's playing in the sand picking up a cigarette butt and putting it in their mouth. That's just devastating to me. And if we can all look at it the same way in that preservation, or actually making it better sense, then we can actually move forward as a people again, as a united people. Everyone here in these islands, we can make it a better place.
Wow, powerful words indeed. And that's where we're going to leave it. Duane, mahalo for being on Voices of Truth. Please keep working with the children, the keiki. Please keep doing what you're doing, because I can tell you're one of those guys that is absolutely making a difference.
Mahalo, Ehu.
Mahalo to you. And mahalo to our viewers. Once again, on Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's future. Remember, you can watch us on the web 24/7 on voicesoftruth.tv.com. I'm Ehu Kekahu Cardwell for the Kiwani Foundation. And until next time, ahui ho! Mahalo for watching Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's future. Watch us on the web 24/7 at voicesoftruth.tv.com. You'll find all our shows, including this one, in case you want to see it again or share it with family and friends. Also view our weekly video commentaries at freehawaiitv.com. And check out our blog, published daily at freehawaii.info. It's all part of the Free Hawaii Broadcasting Network.